What's up, and welcome back to the Kind of Funny screencast, where each and every week we get together to review the latest in TV and movies. And if there is an MCU show going on, you know you're getting weekly reactions right here on youtube.com/kindoffunny or roosterteeth.com. If you want to get it as a podcast, just search your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny screencast, and we'll be right there for you. And if you wanted to get the show ad-free, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunny and do just that. And it would make me, Tim Geddes, very happy. Would it make you, Greg Miller, very happy?
That would make me so fucking happy, Tim. I would take this bottle and just pound it into Andy's fucking face until
my
he
God.
finally admits it.
Admits what?
Of course, we have the
Don't
Nitro
you
Rifle.
know, Andy?
Andy
Don't
Cortez.
you know, Andy? We'll
What-
see after you get 4 big blows with this bad boy if you admit it. Right, Kevin?
Yeah, he'll admit anything at that point.
Yeah. There we have the big dog, Kevin Coelho, the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez,
This is
and of course, the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino. What do you think Andy did, Nick?
Why do I think this has something to do with Nelly Furtado?
Oh my God.
Hey, man. I can't be held responsible for Paulo's aunt coming into a Twitch chat, all right?
No, that's not. No. Greg is losing his mind. We're all watching a man slowly mentally fall apart, and we're fine with that, I guess.
I think a lot. I think a lot about the people that know nothing about us that just clicked on a random review for the final episode, who have
Well,
Final
no
ladies and gentlemen,
context.
let me welcome you to Kind of Funny, all right?
Oh,
Here's what's
God.
going to happen. You
Here
need
we
to
go.
understand something, all right? You've entered into what I like to call the rat's den. And we have a bunch of rats
Welcome to
hanging
the
out
rat's
like
den.
one big scarf around a snowman. And we have fun here. If you don't want to get into this rat conga line with us, I got 2 words for you. Get out, all right? We're here having fun. Are we? You look at a rat, you say, oh, man, that's not a pet I'd like to have. We don't need you then, all right? We're rats hanging out with the rats right here around the snowman. Am I wrong, Nick? Tell me
wrong.
I'm wrong.
You're not wrong, my friend. I don't know how the snowman came into this, but I mean, let's look at him together.
New T-shirt design. All 5 of us as rats in a conga line.
Yep, the red snowman.
What if we were rats in a conga line? This is episode 9 of Nick. Give it to me.
What if?
Thank you. Episode 9. What if the Watcher broke his oath? The season finale to season 1. We do know there will be a season 2 of What If coming at some point. This one is Chadwick Boseman's final performance ever as a variant of Black Panther. He definitely showed up a lot more than I expected him to throughout the season, as many more characters than I expected him to. But yeah, this was his final performance, which is very, very sad. But Greg Miller, I want to start with you. What did you think of this episode?
I think the fight scene with Ultron when they were all going around, that was really cool. I think getting to see the Guardians of the Multiverse assemble was cool. I am such a fucking sucker for Captain Carter. Like, I just love Captain Carter. Like, I let you get in my head last week, Tim, on this show. You're like, maybe it'll be an Easter egg. Maybe she'll be live action. I was like, oh my God, please, 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 please. And so not getting that hurt, but God damn, did she look good in that suit? You know what I mean? And to see her in the Winter Soldier whole line, I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking cool. And whatever. But the entire build up in the fight, and it's just like, it's the traditional problem with these kind of cartoons, right? Where, all right, this guy can just destroy fucking universes. And now I'm supposed to believe that these guys can just go toe to toe with him, and he's not using every Infinity Stone in the moment to destroy him. And yeah, Doctor Strange just put a protection spell around him. Okay, but I was just like, this is a good cartoon. This is a good cartoon. I'm enjoying this cartoon, but it's a cartoon. Like, I don't feel, I thought we started so strong on, this show might actually give us the vibes of the movies of the other Disney Plus shows we've seen. But in the end here, you get the end. I'm just like, all right, cool. This was a cartoon.
Andy Cortez.
I'm pretty positive on this episode. So get ready for the comments to come after you, Greg. They're on your ass now, you little rat.
First off, all the comments are right now, all they say is and then they put in parentheses translation, I am a rat. That's what they're all saying. All right.
I thought that's what the humans
I got a
sounded
bunch
like
of
to
rat
us
friends
rats.
down there.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty hype the moment that we get the Watcher going around and you are the Guardians of the Multiverse. That's a pretty neat moment. I did have the same thoughts that Greg did of like, what? Wait, he still has all the other stones though. Like we've seen Thanos decimate people with the other stones as well. It's not, you don't just need the Soul Stone. So that was like one of those things that I had to sort of suspend my disbelief on. But I did enjoy the action sequences. I thought they were really neatly choreographed. There's one scene where think somebody maybe it's Killmonger who jumps to the portal and it looked really bad. It looked like he just hit a pose and that pose just kind of went through the portal. Like it looked like like a PNG kind of just floating through. But I kind of like the way it ended. I did enjoy everybody going back to where they came from and kind of like, all right, from this moment on, like none of this happened. The masses won't know about this. And Black Widow showing up on the giant fucking airship or whatever it's called. What's it called?
Helicarrier.
The helicarrier. I thought that moment was really neat, and I got kind of chills, and I'm happy for that Black Widow that she can kind of right the wrongs and now become Loki, I guess, on her universe. I thought that was
I don't
pretty
think
neat.
that's how that works, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I just like that.
It's
Well,
gonna be cool. I mean,
she used the staff to like mind fuck him. So,
Yeah, but the
like,
staff-
you
stop
never
the
know.
fight to win the fight.
Sure.
I mean, the staff just has powers on its own. You don't even got to be a superhero.
Yeah,
It's like a car.
Yeah,
it's
remember
got
this-
Drive a car.
It's got the
It's
stone
got
in the bottom.
the Soul Stone in it.
Yeah.
Mind.
I just didn't know that. I
Mine,
didn't know
sorry.
you could
Thank
just
you,
like
Tim.
fucking use it as a human. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is real easy. Craig Miller from Kind of Funny.
Tim, as you are the tribunal and the host of this show, I would like to officially offer a vote of no confidence in the Nitro Rifle Andy Cortez and demand that you send him back to MCU rewatch school and he has to watch everything again before he shows up for Hawkeye in review.
I like that.
Or
Yeah,
Eternals,
you
whichever comes
got-
first. I forget
You
one.
got to do it, you little rat.
You little rat! You're not even a rat. You're a mouse. we don't need mice.
God,
Yeah.
man.
Counts
I
on
wanted
him.
to, I wanted to be a rat.
Voted.
Look at that. He thought he was gonna get away from the comments this week. They're gonna be all over you like a rat on a piece of cheese.
Oh God! Speaking of a rat on a piece of cheese, Kevin, what'd you think?
The fuck's that supposed to mean? All right.
Just like segues.
Yeah, I mean, this did very little for me. It's so many of the things where just like, suspend your disbelief, where it's like, I'm shocked that at no point they were like, well, let's just go find stones in another universe. Let's go to the universe that's made of stones and get all the stones, and then we'll all have stones. Because that's just kind of like what the world is, I feel like, is set up, where they could do anything, right? They said that in the last one, where it's like we could do anything in the multiverse, which means that, like, does anything matter then? I don't want to get all existential, but that's how I was feeling. My biggest issue is that, like, Gamora, like, who the fuck was this Gamora?
Yeah.
Also,
did
man,
we
the
still
voice
her?
acting on
I
her.
didn't see her.
Sorry, that was a lot of noise.
Sorry.
you say, Greg?
Kevin was saying he didn't like the voice actor, which I agree as well. Kevin, good call. And then Kevin also said this Gamora, and I was like, oh yeah, am I supposed to know her? I don't recognize her.
Wait,
Sorry,
before
Kevin,
Tim talks, just to clarify, it's not that I didn't like the voice actor. I mean, the actor did a fine job. It's just that it was so different than the movie Gamora's voice
Sure.
that we know. It just caught me really, really off guard.
Is it Zoe or Zoe? I've never known.
Zoe.
Saldana.
Zoe Saldana. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I learned something today. Thank you. You've been promoted back to a rat, Andy.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if, I'd like to vote no.
Oh,
confidence
come on,
in
no
Tim. I don't think
confidence.
he has the ability to be promoting people and not promoting.
I,
Greg. That's
second
the
that
guy.
Ladies and
vote.
gentlemen, I bring to the tribunal a vote of
Fuck.
supreme confidence in Nick. Nick should
Thank
be
you.
in charge of
voted.
MCU and review from here on out.
Thank you. Please
Hey.
post it in the comments. Cheese. I just want all cheese in the comments of this episode.
Tease it up. No, so the Gamora episode was scrapped from this season. It was planned to be part of it, and now it's rumored that it's going to be part of season 2 now. But the plot of it was some extent of what if Tony Stark went to Sakaar to try to like get Bruce back after Age of Ultron, and that's why you kind of see him in the Hulkbuster armor
Yeah.
with the Ragnarok painting on it. And in that universe, Gamora kills Thanos and kind of becomes the Titan.
That's
I-
what that was.
I,
I
you
don't-
know all
which
this.
is
You know
more-
all this just from rumors, or
I mean, this has just been stuff like there was a lot of merchandise and stuff like that she's been all over, and there's things that like make references to some of the like very, very, very top level things that you can kind of put pieces together. Like that, everything I just told you is like the extent of what we know. But yeah, she has Thanos's weapon, obviously.
It's absurd that they included that. Like, I feel like that kind of like lessens the fact that, like, they built up all these characters to introduce him. The fact that they could just throw in a character like, ooh, we had to scrap the episode. Like that kind of feels like they don't respect us at all, but whatever.
I know I hear, but I mean it's a tease, and like it's not like we need any more
It's-
information, right? She has this thing that eats souls or stones. All right,
No,
cool.
but like the point of this was to like emulate the Avengers, right? We're bringing together this team of characters that we all know and care about. And the fact that they were like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's some DC shit of like, look, here's Aquaman. Like, there you go. Have fun with that.
Wow.
Do I need to push him down to mice?
Wow.
To be a mouse?
Not yet.
He's saying
Not
already
yet.
a mouse.
Thin
Truth.
ice.
I can't
I
do
thought
that.
it was
I
already a
can't do that.
mouse.
Vermin.
I don't necessarily. I mean, obviously, I would have preferred if there was an episode of Gamora and all this, just because like I liked how every single episode was touched on in this one in some way, shape, or form to like
Except for the
culminate in
Gamora
what
one,
this-
yeah.
Well, there wasn't an episode for that, so
And plus, he wanted to put a suit around the world.
yeah, there we go.
Again.
There we go.
Again.
Absolute point, baby. But the idea of what if kind of like giving us the tools and understanding of like how these multiverses work. It's like, cool, we could fill in the gaps and understand like, yeah, there's a universe where Gamora has the stuff. And I'm like, cool, that is enough explanation. We don't need another 30-minute episode to get there because we just had 8 of them that teach us how to think that way. But even more than that, to your DC point, Kev, it's like, this reminds me of Hawkeye, where we didn't get a Hawkeye movie and he was an Avenger. Like, we got enough movies of the other guys that we can contextually put together. Cool, Hawkeye's with them too, and he's the superhero, and that's fine.
Man, it hurt. It
Hawkeye's-
pains me to say, Kevin, but check fucking mate. All right.
No,
He just
bullshit.
got you.
Hawkeye's movies is riddled throughout the 5 movies that came before it.
No, it's not. He makes
You know-
one appearance in Thor.
There you go. Nailed it. Nailed it.
How much
I mean,
do you
Black
need to
Widow's
know
the
about
same
Hawkeye?
way.
He
We're
shoots
getting a
arrows. Come
Hawkeye
on, it's
show
easy.
now.
I mean, if Andy hadn't shit the bed so bad, Kevin, this would be the most embarrassing thing of the episode.
Yeah,
But we
I
got
really
Mousy
thought-
man over there. You know what I mean?
I
Hey,
really
Mighty
thought we
Mouse, what's
shifted.
happening?
I thought we shifted focus, to be honest with you. I
No.
really
What
thought.
happened to you?
Greg who sees all, knows all. He's like Vision.
They don't respect their
Um,
time. That's all I'm saying.
Damn it.
Nick Scarpino, what did you think?
I like the episode, but I agree. I don't think it was the strongest. I mean, I think it's hard for them to wrap these bigger episodes up, and this kind of is the curse of these MCU shows, is that they're not quite sticking the landing. Although I would argue they stuck the landing on this one fine enough for them to win the gold for me. I think all of
Loki
the
stuck the
episodes
landing.
really well, came well together. I love the Guardians of the Multiverse concept. I do agree. I would have liked to have seen Gamora, because when they get to Gamora and Tony, I was like, oh, he's gonna pick Tony for sure, because we've seen Tony a bunch in this, and we haven't really seen Gamora that much. And
Every
he's like,
episode.
Gamora. You're like, Gamora, come on, and he's. I'm like, what? That's weird.
He
And I
just
was
dies and
intrigued by
gets
it.
shit on in every episode, Nick.
Yeah, but I liked it, and I think they sort of solved the issue, the big issue I had throughout the fight, which was like, I don't understand why he's not just snapping his fingers and killing these people. But they did show that Doctor Strange had, he had the time stone. So I was like, okay, well, I guess he has some control over some of the stuff that's happening to be able to push back on this. But I don't know. I feel like I'm like, how did you not see? At first, I was like, how did you not see? What's his name? The
Killmonger?
green guy. No, who's
Zola.
Zola. How did you not see Zola going to take over that body? But apparently, then the Watcher's like, well, I did. I foresaw all that happening, and I saw Killmonger, and I saw them locking in sort of like an epic, eternal struggle back and forth. And it's kind of a bittersweet ending, of course, for Doctor Strange too, because he's got to just sit there and babysit them the rest of the time, which I thought was a pretty cool ending.
He
So
knows
for
he's
me,
gotta do it.
yeah, it wrapped up nicely. The fight, I agree, was a bit underwhelming, but seeing Vision and then all that stuff, and having him kind of have that one Thanos-like moment where he's like, "No, all this," he's like, "Come on, these are the Infinity Stones. You can't destroy them. They're, it is what it is." This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Stamps.com. If you've got a small business, there's nothing more valuable than your time. So stop wasting it on trips to the post office. Stamps.com makes it easy to mail and ship right from your computer. Save time and money with Stamps.com. Send letters and packages for less with discounted rates from USPS, UPS, and more. Joey uses Stamps.com all the time for all of our Patreon fulfillment, and she swears by it. Stamps.com brings the service of the U.S. Postal Service and USPS shipping right to your computer. Whether you're in an office sending invoices, a side hustle, Etsy shop, or a full-blown warehouse shipping out orders, Stamps.com will make your life easier. All you need is a computer and a standard printer. No special supply or equipment. Save time and money with Stamps.com. There's no risk, and with my promo code KindaFunny, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a digital scale, no long-term commitment or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in KindaFunny. That's Stamps.com with the promo code KindaFunny. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.
What I was hoping for is in the universe where the Watcher selects Killmonger, and he's like, "You've been chosen," or whatever. I wanted the ghost / the angel of Tony Stark to be like, "Dude, what the fuck? You kill me," and to be like, "Watcher, what?" And the Watcher to be like, "One." There's one thing about this that I got. You know what I mean, Nick? You
Sure.
get understand?
And
what I'm saying?
and totally like this. Well, I don't understand. What does that mean? I'm number one? because he
And he's like, no. Remember in the movie Endgame? He's like, I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
didn't, I didn't
that
have
wasn't
my
my
universe.
universe.
I
That
don't know
wasn't
what
my
this
universe.
reference is.
That would be cool as shit though.
Yeah,
Tim Geddes, you are the Supreme Chancellor of MCU in Review. What
Thank
did you
you.
think of this episode?
Thank you. I liked it. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't let down overall by it, but I think that it reminds me a lot of Game of Thrones seasons, like not the last couple seasons, but like the earlier seasons where the penultimate episode is way more hype than the season finale is. The season finale is kind of just like, okay, cool, let's just wrap things up and put the bow on it. But it's really that second to last that you get the crazy shit. And this made me like last week's episode even more. Like I really like them fighting through the multiverse and like all the cool kind of stuff we got in the setup there. But I really like that this one it kind of closed the gaps, and it really showed me that like this whole thing is the story of these new characters of the Watcher and Captain Carter and Strange Supreme. And I like that we got kind of like character arcs, especially for like Strange, like set up in episode 4, and then to kind of have him now end up here babysitting and like doing good, right? Like I think that that's cool, and it's exciting to me, the idea that we might see some of these characters, specifically Captain Carter and Doctor Strange, in future movies in some way, and that's gonna be exciting. Like they with this What If season, they have kind of accomplished an entire universe of multiverses that I'm invested in and care about the characters, similar to things like the Spider-Man movies or the X-Men movies, where it's like we always theorize of like, oh, what if this character showed up or that character showed up? It's like now we have a new set of characters that I'm excited at the potential of them showing up in other things. So at the end of the day, like this show did its job of introducing me to new characters that I am invested in. I think that we just got so used to the art style over the season that like we kind of took it for granted. But like I was really blown away by some of the imagery we saw in this episode and last episode as well. I think the fight choreography is awesome. I totally agree that once you get to this power level, it just starts to become a lot of noise.
How do you make sense of it? Yeah.
And we just start asking questions like, why not get the stones? Why not do this? And it's like, all that's super valid. And like, unfortunately, the answer is, and MCU even kind of wrote themselves into this place. It's like one of two things: either, well, we don't have a movie or show then if they did that,
right,
or the other thing, which is they kind of can pull the bullshit of like, well, it had to happen this way because that was all part of the plan to lead to this moment. And it's like, all right, cool, whatever. But that's just where we're at. And when you start doing multiverse and time travel, that's kind of the only way to deal with it. But my favorite thing about this show, and this episode did it really well, is going back to really using the entire MCU that we know, all the locations, all the characters, all the weapons, all the things, and like seeing Nidavellir when they're making the gauntlet, like those little elements I really enjoy. Having Black Widow be the one, like the human character shooting the Zola arrow with Hawkeye's bow. It's like that means something to us because we know what that the weapon is, Hawkeye's and their connection and all this stuff. And even though it's not our Widow, it's a different Widow, and we kind of connect to it because of the previous episodes. Like, I'm surprised for this being an anthology show, how much it did come together and how much that worked for me in the end of it. But the other thing I really liked is in the beginning when we see Captain Carter kind of in the more Winter Soldier-y type situation. That is so cool that it kind of shows us that these worlds lived when we weren't watching. And when we did our Dark Knight review, like the Batman series, like I was talking about how I hated that because of things that they told us, we know that Batman, we've pretty much seen all of Batman's adventures on camera. Like him going against the Scarecrow and then against Joker and then against Bane. That's it. He didn't really do Batman things otherwise because they told us that he was gone for 8 years and all this shit. With this, it's like we see Captain Carter at the end of the first episode. We don't see her until now. And they could fill the gap, and she's been doing a lot of shit. She's been working with Fury. They've been going out and doing stuff. And I'm like, that's cool. And that kind of is storytelling for me where I'm like, I want to see more of this character, and it's not just like a random one-off little blip. So
that's on. If I can jump in there, that was one of my things of like, I know they're doing What If season 2 because we talked about that before, and it was almost like, oh man, I wish they weren't, and they were just going to do a Captain Carter series. Like, I would love to see we're just going to do a Captain Carter animated series that we go on and do, and rather than be hamstrung by the time constraints that What If has been every time we've talked about it, right? Where it's like, all right, you already know the movie, so we're speeding up and this is happening. All right, like if they let it breathe for an entire season of what she was doing and how her world spiraled out from it, I think could be interesting.
Yeah, I think connecting back to her felt a lot more meaningful than a lot of the other characters. I don't know if it was just because she was our introduction to this series, but going back to her felt right. And I wanted to see more of her kind of doing good and interacting with a lot of the characters from even other universes I thought was pretty neat. But yeah, I do agree that I wish Captain Carter played a bit more of a pivotal role and we saw her more throughout as opposed to just the first episode, which feels like a lifetime ago, and now to this episode.
I will say I loved Thor in this. I'm glad he's we don't need more Thor. We're good. We don't need more frat boy Thor.
Las
with the
Vegas,
science
Viva
tattoo.
Las Vegas.
Like, I've
That's not a
never
battle
heard
cry
that
I'm
battle
familiar
cry.
with.
The second time he yelled Vegas though got me, which was unexpected, and something about the way that they, I guess, framed his humor this time around worked way more for me than it did in the Party Thor episode. A lot of the criticism I got for my not liking that episode was like, come on, it's just silly fun. Like, and it's like, look, Thor Ragnarok is my favorite MCU movie, but the writing in this didn't really work for me. And here, those small moments that we got of Thor being the funny comedic relief, I thought really worked this time around.
Or as he kept saying the "Have at you, have at you, have at you," and he was so many things. It was funny because when I did the voice of the frog Thor in the game, I had to do the "Have at ye, have at ye" as the frog. And I'm like, it's funny. That's a Thor
You
thing.
inspired
I
this.
didn't really read Thor
We nailed
comics. So
them.
never heard that before. My least favorite line of the entire thing was Nick Fury saying, "You're not my Natasha, but something tells me you have her spirit."
That was
Awful.
weird.
Fuck out
So
of here!
dumb.
Like that was
But-
so bad.
Yeah.
Also,
That was
the Watcher being like, basically implying that I have to put you back in your world, and then being like, just kidding, psych, here's a new world. It's like, all right, cool, thanks, Watcher.
Yeah, so I'm kind of interested in that though, and especially with the title of this episode of The Watcher Breaks His Oath for two reasons. One, who's his oath to? Like we're gonna find that out eventually.
The other
That's
Watchers.
interesting to me, and we know there's other Watchers out there because Guardians 2, we see a couple of them. But yeah, like that's interesting, and just the premise of the Watcher, he's not supposed to break his oath, and he very clearly breaks his oath here. Like, what is that going to result in? Like, and I feel like season 2 will probably delve into that a little bit more. But yeah, him leaving Black Widow in the Pym universe, the episode 3 universe is interesting, right? Like that shouldn't be allowed. So what repercussions is that going to have in the future?
Right.
No.
But yeah, even with
Wait,
that, I
no,
like that every
that
episode
wasn't
was.
that wasn't the Pym universe, right? Because Iron Man died in that universe, and she was talking to Iron Man. I think that was
no.
just a what?
No,
No,
she
it's
was talking
been-
to Nick Fury.
It was You see Captain America and
You see
Captain
Captain
Carter or
America,
Captain
yeah.
Marvel fighting.
Yeah, you're right.
Which
you're
is
I
right.
think
hell
that's
of
a
a
new
day.
universe. isn't
Got
it?
it.
No,
Well, I
it's-
thought it was a new universe.
Oh, I
If the
thought it was the
universe-
one where at the end Loki decided to double cross Nick Fury, right?
I'm sorry. Yes, that would make sense. That would make
Yeah.
sense.
The episode where all the Avengers were murdered, right? And then
Yeah.
the new Avengers had to form not post credit, but the last scene was Captain Marvel coming down with Captain America, implying they were going to form a different universe Avengers, and now
Got it.
Black Widow's with them, which is cool. And we get obviously the zombies coming in for a moment, and then all the characters from the other episodes are in this. I thought that this did a good job of having touchstones of key importance to all the other episodes.
What
Did
about the
nobody-
zombie Scarlet Witch moment where she's like, and he just blows up the entire planet. Sorry,
I
Kev,
really
what'd you
thought
say?
Did no one
I thought
survive?
we were gonna
from-
see. I thought we were gonna see giant.
Ant-Man zombie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought
so too.
Wasp, Peter, and Paul Rudd's head.
yeah. I thought it was gonna be Wasp when they said like, oh, she has to deal, or Ultron has to deal with something else, and then it ended up being zombie Scarlet Witch. But I thought it was going to be Wasp, which is kind of a surprise that we didn't get a bit of that, since that was such a big pivotal moment in that episode.
One thing we did talk about that I fucking loved was the many Mjolnir spell where they're
That was
fighting,
cool.
and then
Yeah,
there's
that's cool.
shit ton of Mjolnirs flying
Just
around.
shocks
And I'm
them
like,
all.
I think that the fight choreography in the show has been really top notch and cool, and I like that they just go for it. Like, it would be cool if we had Strange do a spell to make hella Mjolnirs, and then they did it. I'm like, yeah, it was cool. Good for
Yeah,
you guys.
I love all that stuff, and I
Yeah,
love
but,
that. I
like-
love that you kind of can kind of be like, okay, he's obviously more powerful now, right? Because he's like killed all those monsters and he's sucked their souls and he's got all that power. So it's almost believable that he could take on the Infinity Stones for a little bit. But yeah,
A moment I didn't like was him giving a speech and everyone like him fucking up
that
the
was
speech.
that fell. That
And it
fell
was
flat
just
for me,
like,
too.
wow, what a dumb, like, doesn't seem like this fits that character, but like, whatever. It's just those moments are the ones that like break the show for me.
Sometimes they're hit or miss. That one missed. I was like, okay, this is just a
Miss
bad joke.
Hard.
They should have cut this out because obviously, I mean, we've heard Doctor Strange talk before, and this is a different Doctor Strange. He's more flustered. He's been there, you know. But I have a hard time believing that Benedict Cumberbatch's character or Benedict Cumberbatch wouldn't be like, I'm going to knock this speech out of the park. But you know, obviously,
Well, he's been isolated for decades or whatever. You know,
yeah,
in
but
his little
time
prison of
is
his
flat
mind or some
circle. Time is a
shit.
circle.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Sphere.
My question would be too then Ultron has the thing of like, I'm surprised Watcher didn't tell you, of course, that Infinity Stones are different everywhere, right? There's tiny differences. Is that the way that we're getting around everybody grabbing at the Infinity Stone, right? Because like it seemed like everybody was just trying to grab the Soul Stone no problem when it was running around.
I just
was
felt
the
like there was
protection
a
spell?
protection spell, and they
Okay.
were like, we you know,
Well,
they
we've
drank the good
seen
stuff.
we've seen in the movies that the Soul Stone can be touched by humans and it's okay. Right?
That's
Like
a
think
good
about
point.
when
Yeah,
they
Hawkeye
first get the
wakes up
Soul
with it, right?
Stone. So it's
Yeah.
like we know the Power Stone causes problems with people holding it, but not necessarily the other ones. I mean, I'm even trying to think like the Space Stone is usually in the Tesseract and humans can hold that, but I don't know if they can hold the stone. But I think as far as I know, the Power Stone is the only one we know that humans can't touch.
Okay.
But let me know in the comments below if that is correct. And let us know what you think about Nick. Give it to me one last time.
What?
And also, just drop some cheeses in the chat.
Get
for
in there,
Andy,
you rats.
You know?
But when I say cheese, by the way, I want like your favorite provolones, the
Oh,
Munsters.
I thought you meant like cheese
you know,
emojis.
Swiss cheeses.
I
whatever
leave it
you
up
want
to
put
you.
in
Yeah,
there.
you want to name your
Yeah.
cheese? You want to put a cheese in? You want to go cheese like an old school? Fine with me.
Fine with me. Till next time. Love you all. Bye.